I admire you, Chris. Still out there in the war zone, all those wars that we had back in the day. I always say that you was perhaps my arch rival. You know, a lot of people don't know that, but Chris Jericho, I tell everybody that you was the guy that I loved to go out there and perform in the middle of the ring with. And reason why, you was just like me in a sense. You wanted to be the best, more importantly, but second to that was you wanted to go out there and make that match something special. You didn't mind putting yourself in a great position for me every time to make that happen. So I don't know if I've told you in all those years, man, but I really do appreciate all those great moments me and you had in those back in the day.
Thank you for saying that, man. It's very cool to hear, and I feel the same way. And it's funny, when I think back of working with you, it was always, we did some stuff on TV, and we had some good TV, but I always just think of you more. We worked so many times on live events.
Yeah.
For months and months and months, especially in WCW, when I guess neither one of us really had a program, so they just stuck us together. And we had some great, great matches with the same attitude. You just want to make the other guy look as good as you can. We had some fun. We laughed. DiCaprio, which is a kind of a private joke between you and I, but we always had a good time out there, man. And it's always cool to hear that, and I appreciate it. And actually, honestly, that's the reason why when you asked me to do your show tonight, it's like, absolutely, you know, whatever you need, man. It's like an old war buddy. You need a favor or whatever it is, I'm there for you. So, absolutely, it's always a pleasure to get in there with you. Because you're so damn athletic. You're like 9 feet tall. If you could do any idea that I came up with, you could do it. And I always thought that was fun.
Always fun, man. And I tell these young guys, man, it's their attitude they need. Back in the day, it was always, like I said, we were friends, but it was always about going out there and being the best, being at the top of the show, working in the main event, making the most money, putting ourselves in a great position to walk away from this thing. And that's what I want to talk to you about right now, is setting yourself up to walk away from this business, Chris. You've done a whole lot already. I mean, you talk show, you know, the band thing. Talk to me, what's your exit strategy, man? How long you been thinking about your exit strategy?
Well, you know, the honest answer to that is I haven't really thought about it, because I've always kind of gone on the lines of a lot like you and some of the other guys. I never wanted to have wrestling run my life.
Yeah.
If I was wrestling, it's just because I want to, because I enjoy it, because I have fun with it. And that's kind of my attitude. So, and actually, to be quite honest with you, not to be cliched or whatever, but I think about 5 years ago or 4 years ago, I got a herniated disc in my back, and it was really messed up. And I started doing DDP yoga, of all things, with Diamond Dallas Page's yoga. And I'm telling you, it turned my entire body around to where I feel better now than I did 10 years ago. And, you know, the cliche of age is just a number on a page. It really is for me, because I can remember at 34, 35, getting out of bed every morning feeling like I was like 80 or 90.
Yeah.
You know the feeling, your knees hurt, your neck. Meanwhile, when I started doing the yoga, it kind of opened me up, and as I realized, like, I'm never really hurt. And I'm not saying that I won't just explode in a puff of dust someday, but for right now, I still enjoy being out there. I love working with the new crop of guys, because they have the same attitude that you and I and kind of our generation of guys did. And my body feels great. So I'll know when it's time. You know, I'll know when it's time. When I feel that I can't perform at the level that I've set for myself, then I'll bow out gracefully, but on my terms, and not have to worry about it. That's kind of the attitude that I got.
You know, I beg to differ, though, Chris. I think you have been working on an exit strategy. Maybe you don't realize it, but most of the wrestlers don't have, talk show host experience. Most of the guys don't, not the lead of the band. Most of these guys aren't working on their third book right now. Fourth book. Is it fourth book or third book?
It's the fourth book.
Fourth book.
It's that. I'm working on my third. Well, what am I thinking about? I'm trying to give
That's
you.
That's why you had me here, Book.
I'm giving you my stat. What am I thinking? No. Most of the guys aren't thinking that way. You know what I mean? What made you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is a great point, and you're right. I mean, you're exactly right about that. I think I started this back probably in about 2000 or 2002 or 3, and the reason why is because when I first. When I was a kid, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to be in a rock band, and I wanted to be a wrestler. And when I started being 5'11" in 1990, it was about big guys. So I knew I could never be the biggest guy on the show, but I knew I could have the biggest charisma and the biggest personality and the biggest character. So I always treated wrestling like an acting performance.
Yeah.
Yes, I could do the bumps, and yes, I could have the matches, but to me, it was always about what kind of a character can I play? What kind of a reaction?
It was like you was auditioning.
Yeah, auditioning, and then also, okay, I'm auditioning, and then now I've got the gig, and now I'm really going to hone in on this character, whether it was, Lionheart in Japan, or Corazon de Leon in Mexico, or the different carnations of Chris Jericho. And because, like I said, I always treated it like I'm more than just a wrestler in my mind. I'm in showbiz. I'm like an entertainer. I'm like a vaudevillian guy from the '60s that can sing and dance. And
what you are, Chris? You're the modern day Renaissance man.
Well, I mean, thanks for saying that, man. I think at this point, maybe I am, but that's because I always had an open mind for like for example, when I did Dance with the Stars, the first 2 times they asked me, I had no interest, and then the third time I realized I could really push myself as an artist. Not to sound too hippie, but wrestling is art, music is art, writing is art, and dancing is art as well. And I thought if I could really push myself on this, that can really help me as a performer. And then plus the exposure that you get from doing something that puts you through the roof as well. But yeah. I just never had any inhibitions to go out there and try something that I knew deep inside my heart I could do. And I think a lot of people have those fears the same way that we had fears when we first started. Can I make it in the wrestling business? I don't know. It's scary, but I'm going to try. And that's kind of the same thing that I had for everything that you see me doing, which all comes from the basis of all I wanted to do is be in a rock and roll band and be a wrestler. I did both of those, so what else can I do? How about this? How about that? And that's kind of where it all came from, knowing that I didn't want to be wrestling when I was, 50, unless I want to.
Yeah.
Unless it's my decision.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to have to worry about going to the high school gyms and working there. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I didn't want to have to go that route. I wanted to be able to step out kind of when I'm at my best and move on to the next thing.
Definitely.